Welcome to the October 9th, 2025 Planning Board. And we'd like to begin by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to appoint Annie Jean to be a voting member of the board this evening to take Craig's position. First item, we have a continued use permit for tax map 105 lot 14 in the residential zone, piece of property off of Winter Road. Jonathan and Amy Downing are the owners. Is that you?
Hello.
Good evening.
Good to see you again. Most of you for second or third time, but maybe fourth. Yes. Should I talk about what has transpired since the last time we met?
Yeah, could you address your response to the town council and also what was the outcome of the variance process with zoning?
Right, so the variance process with zoning went in front of them on Tuesday night, submitted, the town council recommended 3 variances to be requested, 2 of which involved no frontage on the private road that our property connects to. Both of those were approved. And then the third one was about the private driveway, or the common driveway. And the fourth one was about the definition of common driveway, where 4.1 states that only 2 lots can connect to a private driveway. But first of all, for some reason, the application was never listed on the agenda in terms of 4.1 being applied for a variance. So I added that. The attorney didn't say that we needed it, but I added it because I was looking clearly at the definition of common driveway, and it says no more than 2. However, apparently, my understanding is that Melissa, the town attorney, and the zoning board felt that because of the fact that we have documentation showing that our lot was already connected to the road prior to 1977, that we didn't need to have a variance for that. So the decision was to leave it off the agenda, to not request it. So,
Okay.
But now I'm not sure how that plays out. I did bring a lot of documentation. I didn't want to just go into it with we're grandfathered, we're good. I wanted to go into it that there is a reasoning behind of safety reasons and some other things as well, to be able to document that this is, basically I went through the whole, I'm thinking a lot of the zoning and things might have come from the New Hampshire 911 recommendations, the whole paperwork on, let me see if I can find that here. About the 14-page document that the state of New Hampshire prepared that was providing recommendations to towns to make sure that for emergency response vehicles, things would be safe. And so I looked at that document, which I have somewhere, and tore that apart and found 7 things on it that applied to our property. Bear with me one second, sorry. So, for example, in the 911 regulations, it has a map that shows an example street, and it shows the reason. Basically, it wants you to pull your addresses off of the main road, which in our case is Winter Road. So basically I took what they have in the book, which is this picture right here, showing the perfect example of how the numbers should work on a common driveway. And then I applied it to our situation here where it's Winter Road, not Example Street, and then we have the numbers 51. Ours was set aside as 53, so when they designed all these lots and spaced them all out, the number 53 was left open for us. And then 55 is Bailey, so it's all odd numbers on the left side of the main road. And then the next house down is 57. So all the numbers made sense, there's no fractional numbers, no letter A's or anything like that. And then it ends at the water, so there's no risk, like I've seen some other private roads in town or common driveways that connect to lots and lots of acres of land that could become more and more houses in the future, where we only have half-acre lots that are at best, and it ends at the water, so there's no risk of this ever becoming even further. And the whole driveway is only 180 feet long, so the 50-foot spacing in between each number makes sense as well. So I know when we had the meeting in June, there were some concerns that the former abutters expressed about the fact that they own the land that the driveway is on. Is it legal to force it to become a drive or a private road? And so that's part of the reason why it got sent to the town attorney
Correct.
to review it. So when I went in front of zoning the other night, I shared this with them. I also shared pictures of one of the things that 911 recommendations is to make sure that all houses should be able to be seen from the main road. So this picture was taken from Winter Road, and it shows the first house is 51. Mark Bailey's house, 55, is seen in the back here. And then ours is where my truck is parked, would be 53. So we're even closer than the furthest one, but we're all clearly seen from the main road. So we hit that mark as well in terms of 911 recommendations.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone wants to see these any better or take a look at anything that I just showed, or.
I just recall that from the site walk that we did.
Yeah,
So.
and so, yeah, the sidewalk as well, and Chief Rourke drove went down as well to make sure that it was safe for turning around purposes and things like that, so.
So, your understanding of the outcome, you were approved?
We were approved, although they said that they didn't feel the need for the common, Travis brought up, and that others agreed that we were already connected. So we do have a map, I have that with me as well, if you need to see it, that shows the lots prior to 1977, showing that it was already connected. So the ordinance states that it's about a lot being connected. It doesn't say anything about when it turns into a house, it changes. It just refers to lots being connected, the number of lots being connected to a private driveway. And it says and no more than 2 lots, but we were already
3.
been a lot since, and so they said that would be
So,
grandfathered.
but the zoning that was addressed was 18-2, pertaining to the 200-foot setback. You got a variance for that. Article 18, that's 18-2. Article 3.5 and 3744. 3.5 is non-complying lot that was waived, or variance was gotten, and also the variance for the private road construction was waived. So it's my understanding that we're going forward with not a common driveway, but with a private road.
Okay, so do I need to go back in front of zoning again and bring up 4.1? They were ready to approve it, it's just they couldn't
No, because
approve it.
that's about a private driveway. It's not a private driveway, it's a private road.
Okay, that's about,
So you don't need a variance for a private driveway for more than 2 houses on a private driveway, because it's not, it's a private road.
okay, so the people, I just don't want there to be, like our abutters they signed letters saying that they were okay with everything, with the impression
Well,
that.
nothing's changing as far as use, it's still only the 3 houses.
Yeah.
Just because it's a private road doesn't mean there's gonna be more than 3 houses on it.
Right, so I'm just concerned, and I know the Pratts, when they lived there, were concerned about it becoming a private road. They actually own the land, the driveway is on, they own that land, and I don't know if the people that bought the house now would have any concerns about,
We've got
Well,
3
you-
other situations just like that in town. This is
Okay.
not unique.
Okay,
And
And they all hit the 911 recommendations about
Yeah.
under 180 feet.
Yeah.
The numbers all made sense.
yeah, but
It ends at the water and there's no risk of it
They turned from
ever.
private driveways into private roads. And they went across privately owned land. Nothing changed there, no ownership changed.
Okay,
It just, just, the classification of it changed from a driveway to a road. Doesn't mean the town owns it, doesn't mean anybody owns it other than who still owns it.
right, okay.
Nothing,
I mean,
nothing,
for us, it doesn't matter. Like, to be honest with you, I'm thinking of my abutters in this situation.
nothing changes for them either.
Because I know that the former owners of 51 Winter Road were concerned about it becoming a
Yeah,
driveway, and so that's why it went to the attorney.
I think their biggest
Or-
concern
or-
was that the width was gonna have to be widened on their property, but now
Well,
that nothing's changing
Right,
there.
that's what 3744 addresses.
Okay,
So that
Okay.
you got a variance, so you don't have to bring it up to those specs, because that's not within our purview to say you can't,
you don't have to do it.
you don't have to do it.
I thought it was in the planning boards. It says in
No, but that-
3744.
But there's a piece of that that's in zoning, it's in the zoning ordinance.
Yeah, it says planning board has the authority to override that.
It's like
but
one
okay.
little piece missed one of the sentences that
Right.
allowed us to waive that.
Right, okay.
When the attorney
Which
pointed
is-
out to us, it
Alright.
was kind
Which
of
is
a,
one of the things we're working on for March,
Okay,
to change that piece of language so that it's consistent, the same.
okay,
Because it says one thing here and then something else later,
okay,
so.
okay. And I don't, like I said, I don't have an issue with it. I don't know, I'm just concerned I don't know if any abutters would, because they're gonna have to change their obviously. I mean, we know what a pain it is to change your address forms when you actually are moving, but in this case, they aren't even moving, and these people just moved in September, and they're gonna have to do change of address forms again with everything on the mortgage and everything else I mean, it's
it
just,
happens a lot.
yeah,
It's
okay,
happened a few times in town, I mean,
Okay.
and we've renamed a couple roads in town over the years, and 911 got adopted not that long ago here. It wasn't that long ago, we didn't have numbers at all. I mean, it's nothing.
okay,
So based upon the notice of decision that we received, you've been approved for all three variances, which is what was requested based upon town council after your last time before us. So that in our mind, we're at the point where we're going to grant the conditional use permit to establish the access for that third lot,
okay,
which means that this is now a private road as opposed to just a common driveway. The other part of the puzzle that I think we'd like to, or I'd like to advise you that there needs to be a driveway agreement or some type of agreement between the three parties as to who's responsible for the upkeep. Who's gonna plow it, how are you gonna work that out?
okay. Is that
Your
something,
bank's gonna want that too, though. Your bank's gonna want that, know that somebody's gonna, you guys are gonna maintain it, if you're using a bank.
okay. Does that need to be submitted to the town or anything, or just a recommendation of?
No, we're making that recommendation because it's necessary, because that way you
Okay.
talk about private road issue and whether everybody's gonna agree or not. Well, what if one person on the driveway decides, I don't want you plowing into my property,
Okay,
right? So what is it, the common part? So is it the whole thing down to the front of your garage and the front of Mr. Bailey's garage? Or is it to those lot lines?
right, okay,
That needs to be looked at, because that 51 has a separate drive technically off off the easement. It's never been called a common driveway, it's been called an easement across that property.
okay. Okay,
So that would be between you and your neighbors
Yeah.
to figure that out. And like Naomi mentioned, to have it ahead of time before you're going into whatever financing you're gonna need, so that
okay,
that one piece of information is taken care of.
okay,
If this was a raw lot, you were doing a private road to access 3 or 4 houses, we'd want a copy of that agreement, but because there's already 2 existing,
right,
we don't want to tell you
And we
you have
don't
to
know-
do it and them not be willing to agree to
Right,
You know, we don't wanna
Yeah. We don't want.
clamp you down because of that problem.
Right, we
Right.
don't know what the agreement was between Mr. Bailey, because I
Right.
never got to that, we never got to that level to
right,
discern that.
okay. Yeah, that's fine, okay.
I have a question, just because I may have missed something. So you had 2 variances granted, and we're told that you were grandfathered,
There's been
Further?
3.
you got 3 variances granted?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, they were,
so make sure I have the right note.
for here. List the 3 variances on there, what they were for.
Yeah,
Okay. So when this conditional use permit is taken care of, then there's a 30-day wait period for if abutters did have a concern, then they can appeal, is that correct?
Yes.
And then that would bring us back to discuss again and hear what their concerns were, is that,
This was noted publicly,
okay,
this meeting was, this is
okay,
abutters were informed, correct, about this meeting, so,
yeah. Okay,
I'm
yeah,
not sure,
There's no coming back after this, after tonight you're done.
okay, okay. All right. Okay.
so do you, any of those on the board have any other questions pertaining to this? Entertain a motion to grant the conditional use permit for private road to be named by the assessing department for, tax map 105, lot, whatever the lot numbers they are, 14.
10514,
10514, but there's also house 51 and
55.
55. So those are noted as well.
can I take a stab at this? Make a motion that we grant conditional use permit for tax map 10514, house number 51 and 55, 51 and 55. Winter Road, because 3 variances have been granted by the ZBA that were needed before the applicant could go forward.
I'll second
Second.
that. Ray seconded it.
All right. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain, everybody said yes. Good to go.
Thank you. I don't know if this is helpful where it has the map, the tax map lot numbers for the. or-
No, I
I
have,
think you're good. Okay.
Yeah, I
okay.
have one from
All right.
June.
This goes, Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, no, I know it's been learning for something somewhat unique, so. Thanks for your time.
Update from the master plan subcommittee, we had our first meeting last week,
Wednesday.
last Wednesday. The 3 of us discussed a game plan for how to properly go about casting a vision for what the plan should be, as opposed to just giving information. So we have decided to meet monthly, first Wednesday of the month, and with the goal of being complete by May of 2026. Hopefully before that.
See you later.
There's some unique ways we can report the information to help us, and we're gonna be working on that. I will be sending a PDF copy of what the results are now. We still have 27 other results to add to that, which probably won't affect the overall perspective. But it's all in color, graphs, information, percentages, et cetera, that you can observe. It does not include the responses to, is there anything more you want to say? Or is there, that type of thing, that is not in that PDF. If you're interested in having that information, I will print that off as well for those questions that have that information. Do you want that as well?
It might be helpful to know
Okay.
what people are thinking.
Well,
Is that gonna be a second pass, or are you gonna add that to what you're intending to email initially? Like, that's gonna be a second, a
Yes.
separate,
if I can put it all in one PDF, I can, but otherwise it's probably gonna be a PDF for each question.
gotcha.
So I will send that whole package to you. We're pretty pleased with the response level. We're doubled, 459, and then 27 hard copies. And like I said before, the majority of the responses have come because of the tax link as opposed to the link on the webpage. So that was helpful information. That's all I have for master plan. Zoning amendments, we have. Even though our minutes don't reflect this, we really have 5. We have solar, wetlands, addressing the state changes that have come our way, that have already gone into effect. The clarification on private roads on the last part of the article, I believe. And then the question about unregistered vehicles, which has come to us from code enforcement. I didn't have a chance to look that up to see what other communities do, but it's something to consider. Naomi had shared this guidebook, if you want to call it that, and this is from,
Is that New Hampshire Clean Energy?
yes,
I may have emailed a link to all of you a number of months ago.
yeah, okay, so this,
But this
this was
is,
updated July 25.
gotcha.
So, the thing I liked about this is it goes through rhyme and reason first, and it gives you some understanding of guidelines. And then the end of it, let's see, on page 12 is a model for us to consider. So I'd like to ask you to read through this and then start looking at the model to see if that's a model that we can adopt or what we need to edit in that model. That way we can be ahead of the game, because our next, can we talk about the deadlines so that we're clear on
Yeah,
that?
so the, do I have to go up to the microphone, because people can never hear me?
Yes, please.
Someone under that.
So this will be a tool for us, this will get us out of the gate. Yes.
Also, I think at some point I sent to someone Stratham and Charlestown's
I think you did
Solar
that to me, and I'll.
ordinance. And I actually did a little bit of thinking about that today, if you want to hear what I thought.
Yes, please.
I thought that, I have 4 copies of what I did, and my computer wasn't working with the red ink, but my thought was we take Charlestown's ordinance as a base. Oh, there's another one. And
Look at this, Ray, or?
And we replace 2 sections in the Charlestown ordinance with 2 sections from the Stratham ordinance.
And that's what
And
this
can-
represents?
I only wrote it.
Okay, yeah.
I crossed some stuff out and wrote it, what we should replace it with from the Stratham ordinance. What I thought we should replace it with from the Stratham ordinance, and have that as done.
So when you say, so
So this is
Solar
something separate.
agricultural.
This is something separate. That's just a thought.
Yeah,
Yeah, can we create a solar ag overlay? So if a company like Regenerative Roots that had a farmer who wanted to farm the land, that they wanted to put the commercial solar array on, would that be allowed? Because right now, no.
it's not, right?
And if someone, even a private person wanted to utilize their property for a commercial solar array and some farming, we don't allow that. So that's just to kick off the thought process. Can we create that? Something that would allow that, or solar ag, or something like that? That's a talking point. That's something to think about, because we turned that company away. And there was a possibility for, not a lot of people in town, like 15 or 20 people in town, to be able to get lower cost energy from their community solar. And we don't have a way to cite that.
Right.
So we said no,
Well, the other part of that.
part of that.
Right, the other preceding the puzzle of that question is they have yet to fulfill what they originally bought the property for in the first place, which leaves a little in my mouth about what their agenda was from the beginning.
Oh, I thought they were gonna do both.
When they first came, it was
Just the commercial.
just the commercial
Gotcha.
agricultural, not even commercial just
The solar array.
community, almost like community, solar array wasn't part of the puzzle.
Oh,
It was the second time that came, that they wanted to put the solar array with farming underneath it. So that's
Gotcha.
where it fell apart.
gotcha.
So, but going back to my request from, and thank you for this. We want to know our deadlines so we're not hitting the wall and we can't go anywhere.
Yeah, so at the last meeting, we charted out, because if you look at your meeting schedule, November, you're only gonna meet once on the 13th, because the fourth Thursday is Thanksgiving. So then you look ahead to December, and the thought was, you're only gonna meet once there also, because 12/11 is your typical night, which is when we would hold your first public hearing on the zoning amendments, which that works into 1/9 is the last day to have the first one, and 1/26 is the last day to have the public one. So what we looked at the calendar, sticking with our schedule, because the room is tight, is we would have our first public hearing for zoning amendments on the December 11th meeting. That would mean that November, you're gonna have to have kind of a rough sketch or a rough outline as to what you're really looking at. You can still tweak it at your first hearing, because the anticipation is that you would have a final hearing, and that final hearing would be January 8th. That's still your second Thursday. So we can, two things going here, your meeting schedule for November, you get the 23rd, which you can, in 2 weeks, you're gonna have a couple things on the agenda, but you could at least do some of the skeleton outline. And then November 13th is your only meeting in November. You would wanna pretty much be in good shape at that point, so that we could, by the end of November, post for December 11th for your first round. And then post for your final round after you have your public hearing. For your final public hearing would be January 8th of '26.
Okay.
So it doesn't leave you a lot, but if your plan is, we just talked about a little bit of solar, then you're gonna talk about, Craig hasn't gone to the planning board, to conservation yet with wetlands, which they didn't have a meeting last night. I did remind Craig that tomorrow, next Tuesday night, they're gonna meet instead. So I'm hoping to have Craig come with that wetlands one. And then I need to have, I'm gonna jump to the bottom, is I'll have Steve put together something for the unregistered vehicles. Then that leaves you some of the state laws, that kind of get all tossed around is, what are we gonna do with some of them?
Yeah, I think there's only two,
right, the ADU.
the ADU and another one that,
There's a class 6 one that,
Yeah.
281, House Bill 281, yeah.
something like that.
So there's the ADU
Planning board
one,
approved the first detached ADU last night though, right? That was the first one that.
yeah, so you can, it became law and you can do it. And we have some regulations and it did not exceed the 750, which is what's currently in your regulation.
Right.
They just bypassed the step for a special exception. Because it's no longer needed by special exception, so we have to change that around a little bit, that's 19110. So we do have to change that around a little bit, because you don't need to go to the zoning board anymore, provided, now, the state allows you to go to 950 if you wanted. So you've got to decide whether you want to stay at 750 or go to 950.
Right.
And there's a few other slight changes, but NHMA and Southern New Hampshire has supplied us with some information on how to, I guess you're gonna have to make a new section for ADUs versus a special exception. Exception.
Yeah,
So-
so House Bill 413, subdivision regulations, completion of improvements,
No, timing.
timing was
Right,
there.
that's a state law, that's not your zoning though.
Right,
so-
Does that impact our zoning?
No, because of state law, you used to have to finish substantially complete in 24 months, but you had to have it mostly done in 5 years. Now they've given you 3 and 7.
Oh,
That's a subdivision reg,
So that's not us,
right.
okay.
Well,
ADUs is us,
ADUs you.
and.
Private road
then-
1711, you took away private roads and left class 6, and now the state has taken away class 6 because they can go directly to the selectmen with an agreement and release form.
Okay,
So 1711, you either remove it or you say per state law or per state vote or whatever you want to do. Or do you just dismiss it altogether? You guys decide that. Because it's still class 6, remember, it's still owned by the selectmen. So they don't get a free pass, they go to the selectmen and have an agreement and release form signed.
so that, which is that one?
281?
281. Oh, that's another one.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, I didn't see that one.
So that 281, you have to do something in your zoning.
And 282,
I don't have them all to memory.
that's
What's that one?
stairway requirements.
That's a building code.
Okay, so that's not us. So the
But
only one
you
that's
may,
really.
you may want to add it to your building code, which is at you. I'll have to ask, I'll have to
Well,
ask
there's another
Cam.
building code, 188, Senate bill relative to state building code. That-
Yeah, so I think you have you have a
Right.
building code and we can have a public hearing, but the selectmen can do that anytime. I think you guys focus on what pertains to your zoning, which
Right,
is
so-
577 and 281 at the moment.
Right, 577.
Right, that's the ADU, and
Yes.
281 is the class 6.
Class 6 road. Okay,
And the only other one is the one with.
And the other one would go on
Commercial
to the
residential.
planning, what's that? Oh, with the
residential
commercial, yeah.
combination.
If you want to do the commercial combination, what's that? Is that that wasn't 413, that was, I don't have them all to memory.
631.
631, there's a one that,
That goes into effect July 1,
of 26?
26.
Right, so you'd have to put it,
Has to be
you,
in-
you still have to
make it
put
by
it,
July.
if you want to put it in your zoning, you don't have it right now,
Right. But the other one that went into effect last month,
is the ADUs.
on-site parking requirements.
That already went into effect.
284.
284. So we gotta make our zoning, 284, and what was the other one? The first one with
281?
281, I got, 577, I got 284.
Yeah,
And what was the one with with the mixed use, wasn't it? Residential and
Uh,
commercial?
it's 631,
631.
but that's next year.
Right, but I think you would prepare your,
So 513 was subdivision regs, but you said that didn't.
513 is a subdivision regulation, doesn't go on the ballot,
The completion of approval.
which is,
Timing,
it's
right.
timing
Change that at
investing,
a public hearing,
right, it's timing investing.
Okay,
because it's subdivision.
all right.
So those are the 4, and what my plan was gonna be, if those are the 4, we're gonna narrow down. We can put together a skeleton for you for the next meeting.
Okay.
I just wanted to hash out which ones we were looking at, which
Yeah.
ones were on the
I
same
was only
page.
looking at the ones that are already approved, I mean, passed into law as
Okay.
opposed to.
But you got 2 that are
Second
coming,
guessing.
then you couldn't go back to,
Right,
so, it can be explained at your public hearing that it would, if we put it in, and it takes effect anyway in July, whether it's state law or town law.
correct.
So I think that
So
was,
can we make a commitment here, with us here, for our next meeting on the 23rd, that we put a little time into all these little details, so that we're ahead of the game going into November and December?
yeah, so we posted your meeting for the 23rd already, because we got no new applications, so you have two on there. You have Sewell Hoyt, which is going to be asking for either an extension, because the 90 days is up, and they've got some things to do with the Army Corps, or do they table it and notify when they're ready? Because they still got some steps, and
So they
It's
could
the-
make that decision prior to the
yeah,
meeting.
and we'll have that decided before, because I'll make sure I reach out to Jock.
Right.
Then the second one that's on there that you continued to is AMS,
Mhm.
but you guys are only going on a site walk on the 18th, so you're not gonna have any final decisions on the 23rd. So my guess is there'll be a request to continue.
Engineer will not even have looked at it by then.
And what?
The engineer will not
engineer
even
needs
have
to
looked
look
at
at
it by then.
No, because we've already requested the funds for the engineering escrow, and the site walk has been posted. So that looks longer than it is. And then what I did throw on there, which this year's CIP is pretty short, so I was gonna have Denise Purington as the chair of the CIP subcommittee. And basically, you've got a police cruiser, you've got one for the fire, which is ventilators. Then you've got for DPW, you've got scales, road reconstruction, and a truck. We haven't heard yet back. We did apply for a grant for 2 trucks, so we don't know which way we're going yet, but
So
those are the,
CIP, AMS, and Sewell.
yep, so you had Sewell, AMS, those you take care of pretty quickly, then you can have Denise do your 2026, and then you still would have plenty of time to commit to
Yes.
working on your zoning.
Yes. Okay,
Is that-
thank you. So we understand all that?
Yeah. Just a note, what I handed you is not the entire town of Charlestown's ordinance, just the pages on which I thought sections should be replaced by Stratham's
Okay.
sections.
So.
You
I'll-
sent us an email with Stratham, Durham, and Charlestown ordinances a while back. Do you want me to send the link to those again?
Yes. Yes, because I could probably find them, but
I'll do it tonight.
there was, I think when we,
Originally, like, was that last year though, right?
It was this year sometime, because it was you sent it in the town email, and I didn't have a town email until recently, so it was this year.
I'll-
So this is
I'll send it to everybody.
and they were in the same email?
Yeah,
So you
Charlestown, Durham, and Stratham.
You wanna add Stratham's, so do you want me to do a cut and paste?
Yeah,
sure. Sure,
And then you
absolutely.
also talked about the other one. Are
I
we
would have done that, but I
ignoring
couldn't
one too,
figure out
or
how
are
to
we
do it
doing a
yet.
What's
solar
it?
ag overlay? You did a handout,
oh, that's this
the model.
model.
Are you
Yeah.
gonna can that?
I don't know.
I don't think
We
it's,
need to
I
look at
think we
that.
should look at it. I think, to compare to what Charlestown has, Stratham has, and Durham has.
It's the last 2 pages.
Yeah, I got you. I probably have it, but.
So I need to email.
Yeah,
those.
because so this, just so you're aware, I guess, this suggests
It came from Clean Air.
doing this table use. And I don't know how I did look at Warner's, because they have a, town solar array at the transfer station.
You gotta
And
be
they
careful
use
when you
that.
look at town solar arrays, because they're exempt.
I know, but it's still represented in their document, I believe, so, but thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
They can do it, the town can
It's like,
do anything they
yeah,
want.
how do-
It doesn't
how
have to
does
meet
this
town
work?
ordinance.
it's like, this
Can you
new,
just tell me what that last, I'm hurrying you along, right? River, private road clarification, you had that as a 4th one, what did you mean by that?
oh. Because we had that conversation with our town council, which drew up those 3 recommendations. 36. Where is it? I don't know where I wrote it. I have it written someplace. But there was a clarification for 3744. I'll have to find where that is.
It might have been in this little pad of paper.
There was, based on that meeting, there was information that was shared that I thought was part of the process of changing. We needed to change the language.
Yeah, you said earlier, it says one thing one place
Right,
and
it
something
says-
different elsewhere.
Right, and I don't remember where. I have those notes. So I'll have to look back, because that was when, August we met with.
Yeah, August, this letter was 13, so it was just a
Yes.
few days before that, yeah.
There was,
Okay, we also have, do you have this new Article 28?
That's the wetlands from Craig,
Yes, you have that?
I do,
Okay.
that's the one that's supposed to go to the, Conservation Commission.
Where wrote that down? I know I wrote it down, 'cause-
So we'll put that in your bucket to do,
huh?
we'll put that in your bucket.
Yeah. Go look, oh my. If I go back to the date.
oh, I think it's, the problem was 37.4.2. Says a road shall be constructed at 20 feet in width unless otherwise approved by the planning board. In other words, the planning board can waive the 20 feet.
Correct.
However,
We had-
section 37.4.3 says that shall be constructed the same as a class 5 road as described in the road standard and subdivision regulations. And then, which is what they had to get the other variance for, right?
Yes,
Because it's listed in a separate section, separate sentence, that part can't be waived.
correct.
It doesn't
can't
list it
waive
as
it.
being waivable.
Right.
And that's what he discovered, that's why he included that variance.
Right. That's what we need to change in the language.
The only part that, I mean, it says in here, the only part that can be waived is the pavement. So we somehow have to restructure 37.4.3 to be able to waive other road standards other than the need for the pavement.
Right. That sounds familiar. But I have it written down someplace.
Yeah.
Where? I have no idea.
You'll find it. When you get home.
Huh? I'm on vacation, so I should have time to do that, right?
Yeah.
Between running after grandkids and,
Vacation, as a pastor, I get a vacation.
I know, I only work one day a week, so. How can I stay so busy?
So I've got a question for clarification. And kind of leading on this AMS project. Because 2733 says the maximum number of dwelling units per cluster development shall be determined by the maximum number of conventional lots that could be subdivided in accordance with all other requirements in this ordinance and Town of Ware subdivision regulations.
Which is why they did another layout. They did a conventional layout, as one of the sheets.
Yeah, but in the rural ag, right, don't you have to have a lot size of 5 acres?
Yeah, I think there's 100 there, isn't it? Was there, how many acres was there?
Yeah, but when, in the map, I seem to remember that they had some like 2.5, 3 acre lots.
Oh, on the cluster lots.
On the cluster.
But they did a conventional layout on 5 acre lots.
So you take the whole piece and you lay it out with a road and 5 acres and say to build X amount of feet of road to get all these 5 acre lots. Now, that means you can get 20, he's got 100 and something acres, so just quick math. Say 20 lots. And now you can take those 20 lots and you can shrink them down to put 20 lots on 50% of it. That's why they're 2.5 acre lots.
He did a whole separate sheet on that plan to show that.
So they're, usually the cluster up on the hill is 1 acre, 0.9, 0.8, yeah. But he has to do the conventional first to figure out what he can get.
I'm so confused.
When we looked at the plan, maybe,
Sure.
we'll meet sometime, and we'll plan with this, kinda.
Yeah.
So basically, if he could get 20 houses, 20 lots, he can still do 20, but he can shrink it down so that it's,
He could do 20 half acre lots if he wanted to.
yeah, he can do 20 lots of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah,
It's,
I don't, I'll read the language and see, I'll probably get confused too.
Okay. So Steve's gonna talk to us about vehicles issues. Private road is a clarification of 37.2 and 3,
3743,
4.3 and 4.2, or just 4.3?
I wrote 43, but
Okay.
it could be 42,
And then the state changes are basically, there's 3, you know what those are?
4,
4,
577, 281, 284, 631.
okay. Okay. Anything else on zoning amendments? Do we understand what our job is between now? And our deadline is December 11th. We can tweak it, but our final is
Let's
January
shoot for
8th.
November 13th to be in final form so we can post it. Really positive here.
Yeah.
Well, I
Get
have
it
to
all
be-
done
I
tonight?
have to be pushy. I have to be
Well,
pushy.
the thing is that,
Hourglass is running out.
that's why we set a date of May for the master plan process. But I guess sometimes we like to be progressively in front of this, and we historically don't, but it's not like any of these things are brand new, unexpected.
Yeah, there's
These
no
are things we've been
reinventing the
talking
wheel
about.
either. We have
Right.
lots of templates to work from,
Right.
so.
Okay, minutes from 9/11.
I think it should say 925.
Oh, 9/25.
Sorry.
Yes, 9/25. One question I had was on line 50. I don't recall, and Ray, you'd love to help, and Ray, Bruce, does that, was it 19 lots or 18 lots?
Go 19.
You sure?
19's in a cluster.
Yeah.
It's a 19 lot cluster.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure, because I didn't remember seeing number 19 on the plan.
I thought the last time we looked at the plan, it was 18.
You know, you could be right, because the definition at the article in 34 says 18, which would have come from the application. On line 34,
I thought it was
it
19.
says the intent is to create an 18 lot, and that would have come
Right.
from the application, so
Yeah.
that line would be 18.
Okay, that's the one
Yeah.
correction.
Sure.
And I guess we're ahead of ourselves, we need to have a motion before we have corrections.
No, you correct them, and then you approve it as written or amended.
Okay.
Just helping.
So 135 then, following up on Craig's issue with the Conservation Commission. That's not what that meant.
No.
It should say Craig was going to present the wetland zoning to be discussed with the Conservation Commission.
I like the first one.
Yeah, so, that's why he's not here tonight. And then 137, inviting Steve Garside, the code enforcement, to attend future meetings pertaining to excessive vehicles, unregistered vehicles.
He's gonna be attending the meetings in December, or meeting.
The meeting,
Yes. No, but it's like why, it doesn't give you the reason why. And the reason why is pertaining to unregistered vehicles. That's the only corrections I had.
Motion to accept the 9:25 meeting minutes as amended.
Second,
I'll second.
further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay, so it's 401. Any other business that can come before us this evening? I hear a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion? All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Motion passes, we are adjourned.